This episode was crafted with love to honor not only my mother, but all the incredible mothers and daughters out there. Let's continue to support one another, to heal and to build relationships that uplift and empower us all. Happy birthday, Mom. This one's for you. Hello, and welcome to 52 Weeks of Flow, the podcast that delves into the depth of human potential and the transformative power of flow. On this show, we talk about peak performance, flow, energy, and bridge the gap between science and woo-woo. Through authentic stories and real-life examples, my guests and I will help you dive into your superpowers and create your next level of success. My name is Bea-Marie, neuroscience geek, flow enthusiast, and your guide to rewilding yourself. I'm on a mission to raise the frequency of the planet by supporting you to untame yourself and step into your flow. Woohoo! It's October, everyone! Hello! And in today's episode, we're diving into something deeply personal. Something that actually touches every single one of us. The mother-daughter relationship. And today is a very special day because it's my mom's birthday. And I want to take this opportunity to just honor her, to honor all mothers, to explore the incredible impact they have on our lives. So this episode is dedicated to all the mothers and daughters out there, celebrating the beauty and complexity of this bond, while also offering tools and insights on how to heal, grow, and build an unbreakable connection rooted in trust and love. My name is Bea-Marie, and if you're new here to 52 Weeks of Flow podcast, then I welcome you. And I invite you to click the subscribe button. If you're listening to this on YouTube, then click the bell to never miss an episode. So let's dive in. The mother-daughter relationship is arguably one of the most profound and complex relationships we can experience. It is a connection that shapes our identity, influences our sense of self-worth, and lays the groundwork for how we navigate the world. Whether we realize it or not, our mothers are our first teachers, our first examples of what it means to be a woman, what it means to be human, and our first source of unconditional love, or sometimes the first source of wounding. Today I want to explore with you both sides of this coin, the beauty and the pain, the joy and the challenges, and ultimately how we can create a beautiful, loving mother-daughter relationship that transcends the wounds of the past and builds a legacy of love for future generations. So let's begin by addressing the concept of the mother wound. The mother wound is a term used to describe the generational pain, trauma, and unmet needs that are often passed down from mothers to daughters. This wound can manifest in various ways, including feelings of inadequacy, a deep sense of not being enough, and challenges in forming healthy relationships. The mother wound isn't about blaming our mothers, no, not at all. It's about understanding the larger context in which our mothers lived and how their own unhealed wounds might have been passed down to us. So for many women, this wound can create a sense of disconnection, not only from their mothers, but also from their own feminine power and potential. The roots of the mother wound often lie in the cultural, societal, and familial expectations placed on women. For generations, Women have been expected to fit into certain roles: nurturer, caregiver, self-sacrificer, often at the expenses of their own needs and desires. And when a woman becomes a mother, these expectations can become even more pronounced, leading to feelings of inadequacy, resentment, and guilt if she feels she isn't living up to the idealized image of motherhood. These unspoken expectations and the pressure to conform can lead to a cycle of wounding. A mother who feels disconnected from her own power and worth may unintentionally pass those feelings of inadequacy onto her daughter, who then carries them into her own life and relationships onto their daughters. So, how do you know if you're carrying the mother wound? Well, there are some common signs that a lot of amazing experts have condensed and that I also found in my relationship to my mother. Number 1, perfectionism. A constant drive to be perfect, often stemming from the desire to gain approval or avoid criticism. Number 2, people-pleasing. Ooh, yes! I used to be a big people-pleaser. A people-pleaser has the tendency to put others' needs before their own, often at the expense of their own well-being. Talking about burnout here. Number 3, self-doubt. A deep-seated belief that you're not enough, no matter how much you achieve or how hard you try. And I have not met a person yet who does not experience self-doubt in one way, shape, or form. It's just about how you deal with it and how you transform it, how you alchemize that self-doubt into gold. Number 4 is difficulty of setting boundaries. You know, it's struggling to say no or to assert your needs in relationships. And boundaries are so crucial for the way you move in this world, the way you express yourself in this world. And number 5 is the fear of abandonment. A fear that if you're not perfect, or if you express your true feelings and your shadows, your dark side, you'll be rejected or abandoned. And that especially carries into romantic relationships. This is so crucial to heal this fear. So if any of this resonates with you, know that you're not alone. Really. Most of us experience 1, 2, or even all 5 of those. The mother wound is something many women carry, often without even realizing it. I didn't know that for the longest time, that I carried it, because I have an amazing relationship with my mother. The good news is that it can be healed. And healing this wound can lead to a more authentic, empowered, and loving relationship with yourself and your mother. And this is what happened when I figured out that I was carrying the mother wound. I did a lot to heal this within myself, but also with my mother. And the beauty is that my mom and I are able to talk about this kind of things. That I could go to her and say, hey, I've discovered something and I would love to tell you about this. And yes, for her it was also painful to hear that she was carrying a mother wound and that she had unhealed trauma in one way, shape, or form. But the beauty is that we were able to heal this together. And that brought us even closer and made our relationship even more loving and more empowering. And like I said in the beginning, Healing the mother wound is not about placing blame or dwelling on the past. It's about acknowledging the pain, understanding its roots, and taking steps to heal and transform it. And like I said, I healed it with my mother, so I just want to give you a couple of powerful ways to just begin this healing journey and find out what works for you. So the first step to healing the mother wound is to acknowledge your pain. This might involve reflecting on your relationship by yourself or with your mother, and identifying any unresolved feelings or unmet needs. Like, be really, really clear what you need, what you would love from your mother. And it's important to approach this process with compassion, both with yourself and for your mother. Remember, she was doing the best she could with the tools and awareness she had at the time. Journaling can be a really, really powerful tool here for this process. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and memories related to your mother. Allow yourself to express any emotions that come up, whether it's anger, sadness, or grief. Like, acknowledging these feelings is the first step towards releasing them, not just throwing them in your mother's face. Like, first journal about this with yourself. Sit with it with yourself. What comes up? And do you want to throw all of those feelings in your mother's face because of resentment? Because of blame? Because of the anger? Because that is not hers. This is yours. This is yours to deal with. And when you have healed that, when you have settled with it, you can go to her and say, hey, there were a lot of things that made me angry, that made me sad, that sparked resentment in me. And I want to tell you about it so we, in our relationship, can heal this as well. The second one is, and I said it before, is cultivating compassion. As you explore your mother wound, it's essential to cultivate compassion for yourself and for your mother. Like I said before, she did the best to her abilities at that time. Understanding that your mother was shaped by her own experiences, her own upbringing, and the societal expectations of her time is crucial. She may have been carrying her own unhealed wounds, which influenced how she mothered you. Practicing compassion doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. No, not at all. It means recognizing that we are all human and we all carry our own pain. And by cultivating compassion, you can begin to release any resentment or anger you may be holding on to, creating space for healing and forgiveness. Number 3 is the most powerful way to heal the mother wound. And that is through the process of reparenting yourself. This involves becoming the loving, nurturing parent to yourself that you may not have received from your mother. It's about meeting your own needs, validating your own feelings, and giving yourself the love and care you deserve. And that doesn't mean that your mother didn't love you or didn't care for you. No, not at all. It just means that you give yourself what you deserve, what you have deserved as a child. So to start by identifying the unmet needs you experienced as a child. Perhaps you needed more affection. Maybe you needed more validation, more attention, or more encouragement. Whatever it was, make it a conscious effort to provide those things for yourself now. This might involve speaking kindly to yourself about yourself, practicing more self-care, or seeking out supportive relationships. It could also mean to be true to your word. Sometimes as parents, we are so busy, we're so caught up in things that we say, yes, 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 I will do that. But then we never do because we forget. So, as a grown-up, be impeccable with your word. When you commit to practicing more self-care, then schedule a time. Really be clear how you want to reparent yourself, and then stick to it. And here comes the part that is very, very crucial. Setting healthy boundaries. This is the essential part of healing the mother wound. Also, when it comes to reparenting yourself. If your relationship with your mother has been challenging, you may need to establish boundaries to protect your emotional well-being. This doesn't mean cutting off the relationship entirely, unless that's what you feel is best for your healing. But rather creating clear guidelines for how you want to be treated. Communicate those boundaries with love and respect, and also be prepared to enforce them if necessary. You need to remember that setting boundaries is an act of self-love, and it's crucial for your own healing and growth. Maybe you only need really, really strict and firm boundaries in the beginning when you start healing your mother wound, when you heal that inner child inside of you. And when you feel healed and whole and secure within yourself, and you want to address the relationship, the active relationship that you're having right now with your mother, maybe then you can open up and loosen those boundaries if it feels right for you. And number 5 is another beautiful, beautiful aspect of healing the mother wound. And since that can be a really deeply emotional process, it's important to seek support along the way. This might involve working with a therapist, or joining a support group, or simply by talking to trusted friends who can offer empathy and understanding and can hold space for you. You don't have to go through this journey alone. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, who hold space for you. And please don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Asking for help is a form of strength, not weakness. So now that we've explored the concept of the mother wound and how to heal it, let's shift our focus to creating a beautiful, loving mother-daughter relationship. Whether you're a mother, a daughter, or both, there are steps that you can take to build a connection that is rooted in love, trust, and mutual respect. Open and honest communication is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and the mother-daughter bond is no exception. So take time to really listen to each other, to understand each other's perspectives and to express your feelings openly. Don't assume that you know what the other person is going to say. Don't make up your mind already in the middle of the conversation. Let the other person finish and try to see a situation through their eyes. If there have been misunderstandings or conflicts in the past, it might be helpful to have a heart-to-heart conversation. Approach this conversation with a spirit of openness and the willingness to listen. Like I said, do not assume. Have the willingness to listen rather than a desire to be right or to win an argument. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. In the context of the mother-daughter relationship, empathy means putting yourself in each other's shoes and trying to see the world from each other's perspective. But for that, you really need to listen. But putting yourself in the other person's perspective can be particularly important when conflicts arise. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, take a moment to pause and consider how the other person might feel. What might be driving their behavior? What unmet needs or unhealed wounds might be influencing their actions? By practicing empathy, you can create a deeper sense of understanding and connection, paving the way for a more loving and harmonious relationship. One of the most beautiful aspects of the mother-daughter relationship is the opportunity to celebrate each other's strengths and accomplishments. As women, we are often conditioned to compete with one another. But in a healthy mother-daughter relationship, there is no competition, only mutual support and admiration. So take the time to acknowledge and celebrate each other's strength, whether it's a personal achievement, a professional milestone, or simply a quality you admire. By lifting each other up, you create a positive and empowering dynamic that strengthens your bond. And by celebrating a quality you admire, you're also making room for that quality to arise within you. Another powerful way to create connection and build lasting memories is rituals. These rituals don't have to be elaborated. They can be as simple as a weekly phone call, a monthly lunch date, or a shared activity that you both enjoy. The key is to be intentional about creating these moments of connection. Make time for each other. Even in the midst of busy lives, I know. Prioritize your relationship. Prioritize relationships in general. But these rituals of connection can become cherished traditions that deepen your bond over time. And the last way to strengthen and create a beautiful mother-daughter bond is vulnerability, which is the willingness to be open, to share your true feelings, and to allow yourself to be seen, flaws and all. And in the context of the mother-daughter relationship, vulnerability means being honest about your emotions, your fears, and your needs. It can be challenging to embrace vulnerability. especially if you've been hurt in the past. But it's essential for building a trusting and loving relationship. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you create space for deeper intimacy and connection. Like I said before, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It takes courage to be open and honest. And by doing so, you invite your mother or your daughter to do the same. And yes, it might hurt in the beginning, yourself or the other person. But healing this, overcoming this, will create a much, much stronger and more loving bond. As we come to a close today, I want to take a moment to honor all the mothers out there. Whether you are a biological mother, a stepmother, an adoptive mother, or a mother figure, know that you are deeply appreciated and loved. Your role is one of the most important ones in the world, and the impact you have on your children's lives is immeasurable. To my own amazing, beautiful, courageous mom on her birthday, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your love, your sacrifices, and your unwavering support. Thank you for being my first teacher, my first role model, and my first source of unconditional love. I am who I am today because of you, and I am forever grateful. And to all the daughters listening, take a moment to reflect on your relationship with your mother. Whether your bond is strong or strained, there is always room for healing, growth, and deeper connection. Remember that the mother-daughter relationship is a journey. And it's never too late to create the loving, trusting, and supportive bond you desire. Healing the mother wound and building a loving mother-daughter relationship is a journey that requires time, patience, and commitment. It's a journey of self-discovery, self-compassion, and self-love. And it's about breaking free from the patterns of the past and creating a new legacy. One that is rooted in love, trust, and mutual respect. And as you go on this journey, remember that you are not alone. There is a community of women, mothers, and daughters who are walking this path alongside you. Together we can heal, grow, and create a brighter future for ourselves and for the generations to come. And that's it. That's it for today. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the 52 Weeks of Flow podcast, the beautiful mother-daughter relationship episode on my mom's birthday today. If you have a second, can you please rate and review the show? It would mean the absolute world to me. And be sure that I will read every comment of yours. I'm giving you a virtual high five right now because you have just finished another amazing episode, and I hope it inspires you for the week. Thank you again for listening to the 52 Weeks of Flow podcast, for being part of the Flow family, for being a supporter over this time. And until next time, keep shining, keep learning, keep growing, and keep flowing.